You guys are about to listen to a session with myself. This was me processing my thoughts, processing my life, and I decided to record it and see what happens. And it ended up being coming an episode because, yeah, why not? So, this is the episode of Heartfelt Expressions where Katera speaks. Listen and live your life, I guess, and reflect. I don't know. You do you. When I look at my life, going through the journey, multiple points in my life, if I'm looking it from the outside, it seems like I have everything I ever want and need. I looked happy. I was in the top 5, top 10 in my class in high school. I did so many clubs and so many honor societies. I was athletic. People liked me. People knew me. A lot of people knew me. I was great at everything I did. I won awards. I won competitions. I had friends. I had family. Lots of family, lots of family. And food. Good food. Had quality clothes, quality things. I grew up privileged and wealthy in a sense. I got everything I wanted and I had everything I needed. It seems like my life was perfect outside looking in, that I had nothing to worry about, that I had no traumas, no secrets, that what you saw was what you got. Well, dang. Like, my gosh, it was, now speaking from my perspective, it really did seem that way, huh? 'Cause I tried my darnest to make it seem that way. I thought that I had to do everything I did to feel good enough, to feel worthy of love and connection. That I did so many clubs and leadership roles and joined all these honor societies. And I could have been valedictorian. I really could have. But I chose gym. That's a weird decision. But my guidance counselor gave me a choice to do AP chemistry freshman year. If I did AP chemistry, then my whole schedule would have changed and I would have been on the trajectory to be valedictorian, because I would have took AP the next year. Everything would have been aligned. But I chose gym and she thought it was absurd since I'm Asian. Why wouldn't I want to be valedictorian? Yeah. And by the time I graduated, I did regret that decision. Early. Freshman year, I was like, oh man, I should have took the AP class. I could have took gym later because I was ranked at 4 in my graduating class. If I took the AP freshman year, an AP in 10th grade year, I would have been number one because everything else would have been bumped up. And my gosh, I felt like a failure. Fourth in the class, out of 300 something students, I felt like a failure because I was not number one. My stepmother was first in her class ever since 6th grade or something like that. And I felt like I wasn't good enough, that I was Asian and I should have been number one. Even though the valedictorian is one spot. The valedictorian for my class was Asian, but I felt like I wasn't Asian enough. You know, it hurt. And it was tough. I was dealing with so much internally. And everyone thought my life was peachy cream. And there was one classmate who kind of challenged me. He said that those who smile the brightest has the most to hide. What is your secret? What is something that you're not telling? I smiled and it's like, I don't know what you're talking about. I have nothing to hide. I have no secrets. I was lying through my teeth. I had so much trauma, it's like trying to appear that everything was peachy cream. No one really saw me angry or upset or any other emotions besides from happy. And the one time I did visibly was stressed, people was freaking out. People was freaking out that I am stressed. It's like it was the end of the world for them. It felt as if time stopped and no one knew what to do. No one, not even the teacher. It was like the world stopped. Like a pause in a movie or something. And it happened multiple times during my high school years. That in college, I decided to just be me. Emotions and all. I don't have to smile all the time. I can just be myself and enjoy life. I don't have to dress up for anyone or anything. And it was refreshing. I didn't really deal with my upbringing because I was just living in the moment, honestly. Until it got too much. I burnt out. I burnt out. I felt as if I was only going to college for the sake of my family to feel good enough, but it felt as if me graduating and getting good 9 to 5 after college was so superficial. If I earned my family love, quote unquote, then that's superficial love, and I didn't know what to do. I didn't know if that's what I wanted, and I wanted to drop out so many times. I wanted to drop out my first semester, actually. After I bought all these books, I lost them, and I never needed them in the first place. I lost them the first day I got them. I think I put it on the car and I went into the car and we drove off and I never saw that again. I think that's what happened. But yeah, it was so tough emotionally, like throughout the years, and I just suppressed it. I didn't let myself express myself through poetry until I was so in the depths of my depression. I did not like that word at that time, but honestly, burnt out and depression was probably it. I turned to poetry again, and it was such a vulnerable time, and then I got triggered, and so much stuff happened. So many things, financially, and I felt alone. And reconnecting or making connections with people was kind of hard for me. So, my gosh. Then the pandemic happened, and I decided, like right before the pandemic, I decided to take a semester off for self-love. And loving yourself, deciding to love yourself is like a brave move, you know. It takes courage to not keep going like everyone expects you to. Because I was on a track to graduating early. I took 19 credits one semester and 18 credits the next, or something like that. I wanted to graduate early with I was planning to have 2 majors and a minor. It did not work out that way because I burnt out. I even kept a class. I kept a class that I thought was fun. And I was so burnt out, I didn't even do the class, even though it was quote-unquote fun. I dropped all my other classes, but I didn't drop this one. So it affected my GPA. I think I got an E in the class. It was like I really did not care. It hurt my feelings for sure, especially since I went from such a star student to having E's. Oh gosh, having E's on my stuff, and it dropped my GPA, but honestly, I didn't want a 9-to-5 after college anyway. So, or go to grad school, so honestly, it didn't matter. I had a story, like I had justifications why I got the E. At least I graduated college, y'all. Yeah. Outside looking in, people wouldn't have known, and in college, I did not hide my feelings, and my professors, my classmates, they saw I was depressed. They saw that I did not care anymore, that I was a shell of myself. They didn't know what to say. They didn't know what to do. Honestly, they just left me be. I was one of the star students. I used to interact every single class period. I would talk to people all the time, and then all of a sudden, nothing for the rest of the year. And I'm not sure if it's people just didn't have the emotional intelligence or they just didn't know how to talk. But I was struggling mentally and emotionally. It was such a hard period in my life. My grades dropped dramatically. Went from A's and B's to getting C's and D's. I don't know, man. I was like, it was to the point that I wouldn't have even graduated college because my grades was getting so bad. Yeah, but some professors, one in particular, actually cared. They let me turn in one of my essays or research papers in late, and it was 30% of my grade. He's a really strict professor. He had a 0 tolerance for any late work, but I was such a star student. I never did this before, and he would press me. He's like, hey, oh, did you turn in your work? I didn't see it. And I would lie and say, oh, I'll turn it in tonight, then the next week, because I saw him again, and he was like, oh, you didn't turn it in last week. Hey, make sure you turn it in today. And I was like, oh, you really want me to turn it in? He's like, yes. So I turned it in late, 2 weeks late, I think. And he wanted an honest answer. Why did you turn it in late? And I was like, if you want the honest answer, it's because I had a mental and emotional breakdown. And I don't think he had the emotional capacity to really address everything, so he just emailed me back and said, okay. Okay, I got graded for it. I got a good grade, and I didn't fail college. Because if I failed that class, I would have the same exact teacher the next year. So I would have dropped out. I would have dropped out of college. That would have been too embarrassing. But I think he knew I was struggling, and he gave me a shot. He believed in me. He let me turn it in about 2 weeks late. I graduated college, y'all. Yeah, it was such a tough time. My gosh, I am so headstrong in my decisions that I was adamant that I did not want a job that I would be depressed in. I didn't want to become a shell of myself again. Oh my gosh. It turned into working for free and still feeling that way. My gosh. Working for free and still feeling that way. That's so bad. It was definitely a different decision. You know, I think I would have felt worse if I did get in a 9-to-5 and I was miserable. I think I would have felt worse, even though I would have been financially better. I think if I chose the 9-to-5 route, I would have been like on a hamster wheel just getting by, because I learned in school that, because I did entrepreneurship, y'all, you create jobs and you give your employees just enough incentives to hold on, give them culture, give them enough pay to feel satisfied, but not enough to live the life that they want. Give them some vacation, PTO, and 2 events a year, and call it a day, and give them raises. That's not enough, because if you give them what they deserve and what they're worth for the time that they put into their job, into the company, then the company will become bankrupt. They will become break even, and it would not be profitable. And I did not want to become on the other end of that. And I didn't want to be the, oppressor, even though I'm giving people what they want, quote unquote, a job, some stability, give them benefits, give them health benefits and pension on a 401k. But I wanted something different. I wanted to create something that did not perpetuate the cycle of suffering, of misery, So me refusing to get the 9-to-5, I didn't want to be part of the system, which I already knew the game. So I didn't do that, and I got burned anyway. Yeah. I got burned anyway, but I do not regret my decision. Even though I could have made other decisions, Like, I'm learning to accept the decisions that I made and grow and heal and love myself during this process and embrace myself, and choose differently from here on out. So there has been so much growth. Honestly, I've been MIA in a sense on social media because I was doing it for the wrong reasons. I was posting constantly, wanting to feel the validations of others, to feel understood, to feel seen, to feel loved, to feel validated. Even with my anxiety, like, I wanted to feel like I wasn't alone, that I wasn't the only one. I was just producing content and speaking from my heart, and people resonated, and it was amazing, but I was craving it, I would do more content about anxiety, and people would resonate, but I felt like I was trapped in this loop, and I wasn't getting anywhere. I started telling other stories, and sometimes it was successful, sometimes it wasn't, in the reach I was getting and the engagement. It was just so focused on the metrics, of the likes and the comments and the shares. It was too much. It was not what I wanted per se. So I had to take a step back. And I remember I started this podcast. I did one episode, and I did the trailer. Then I stopped because this was an outlet for me, and it allowed me to really express myself. But I stopped because I came into the cycle of people pleasing, and I didn't like it. But I didn't know what to do. I felt trapped. I didn't know how to get out. So when I started back on this podcast again, it's just raw. Honestly, I used to record these episodes over and over and over and over again, and it was monotonous. Until I came to a point that my intentions for this podcast, Heartfelt Expressions with Katara Speaks, is to really speak from my heart. That is what I truly wanted. When I speak from my heart, I speak to the heart of others. And I have not been advertising this podcast in the slightest. I think I posted one thing about it and put it in my bio and put it on my link. But I didn't do marketing. It's like, this is a safe space, and when I'm ready to really, really push it and people to get to know me on a deeper level, I will when I'm ready. But it seems like I'm MIA, like I disappeared from social media, that it's crickets over here. And in the social media world, if you do not post, you are forgotten. I think I kind of like that in a sense, because it gives me a fresh canvas, a fresh restart. Because what I was known for before was the perfectionism, for the things that I did, for the things that I said, all these different aspects. But it wasn't the whole picture. Even this podcast is not the whole picture. I'm more than just the words that I say in here. I am more than the things that I experience. I am multidimensional, just like everyone else. We are more than what we do, what we done, and what we will do. We have personality. We have yes, we have accomplishments, but we also have ambitions and dreams, family, friends, different aspects of our lives, also career. There are so many different aspects, honestly, that just putting people in a box or of what we perceive and what we assume is so crazy to me, because that makes it so limiting. And I remember having to do that all the time. It's like, in a sense that I was aware of how people perceived me, so I acted accordingly. And when I acted differently, people would be upset or shocked. That there was a difference in their perception and reality. And that's not fair, We should be open to understanding people, getting to know people as they evolve, as people, as individuals, in their personal life, in their career, or whatever sector of their life that you observe, Yeah, I said a lot. This was on my mind, on my chest. Usually I talk to myself to process the things that I've been through, because I really was talking to myself earlier today, and I was just processing, and I realized that I could process some of these things here with you guys, and it's okay, you know? I only share what I want to share. I won't share everything, you know, and that's normal. It's growing process. It's a process of self-love. I am like choosing every day to love myself, to embrace myself as me, even as I grow, because I'm worthy of love regardless of what I've done and what I do, how much money I have, and who I know and who knows me. We are worthy regardless, honestly. Worth is something to be recognized, not something to be earned. And I engraved that in me over and over and over again. I look in the mirror and I say it all the time, even when I didn't believe it. And what made me even start saying that? I had a self-worth book. Like, it was at a free library or something, that you take one, you give one, you give one, you take one, something like that. And one of the workbooks said self-worth. So I got that book, and it really impacted my life. I didn't truly believe it, but I wanted to, because like, hey, baseline worth, you're worthy regardless. So I attribute it to that. So I am on this journey, and I welcome you guys on this journey with me. You know, Heartfelt Expressions with Katera Speaks, where we speak from our hearts. I do welcome people on this podcast. I know a lot of my episodes thus far has been me just venting to you guys. Though I do welcome you guys on here. We can really speak from our hearts, talk about topics and about your life. Honestly, I want to know about what you think and how you feel, your experiences, you know, highlighting that your voice matters, that your story matters, that your experiences and the things that you went through is valid. We get to choose to observe these things from different perspectives, you know, and it's a beautiful thing. It's a really beautiful thing, because this is not just for me. It's for y'all too, to have your voice be heard, to have an outlet. And it's just, you know, you gotta start somewhere. So I started because I wanted a platform to be seen, heard, and understood by me first. And since this was originally just me just talking to me, and you guys just listening in, you know, it's beautiful. We can have an interactive experience too. I welcome it, honestly, I welcome it. Yeah, and there's more than just that. You can express yourself through different avenues, like music, poetry, storytelling. I welcome it all. You know, if it is, what's that? Not hurting anyone else. You know, I do not promote, do not advocate for defamation. We are not defaming anyone here on my podcast. Or disrespect. We can have our voice heard without disrespecting people. You can have your thoughts and feelings, but this this podcast is not the platform to be degrading people. That's not what this podcast is for. Like, you know, things can be edited, things can be re-recorded, and things can be canceled. If things don't work out between me and another creator, like someone I'm talking with on this podcast episode, then you guys will not hear it. Or a version will not be heard of those things. Yes. So, yeah. This is the event, the story time, my thoughts for today, and the invitation for you guys to join me in Heartfelt Expressions with Katara Speaks. So, you guys listen to my inner thoughts, and it turned into me talking directly to y'all. So, yeah, what do you think about it? It almost is interesting, you know, to get into the minds of people, and it helps you reflect on your own life and your journey, because we're more than just one thing, one aspect. So, yeah, something to ponder and realize that we have emotions, we have experiences. There's more than meets the eye. Yeah, there's more than meets the eye. Yeah, something to ponder. And this is a journey. It really is. So, if you like it, I appreciate it, you know. Let me know what you think about this episode, whether in the reviews, whether in my email, my social media, sharing it with someone you know, or whatever it is, you know. And subscribing, I guess. Following, I don't know. And listening to more episodes, because this podcast has really similar vibes. We speak from our heart, and therefore we speak to the heart of others. So yeah, continue on this journey with me if you so choose, because this is Heartfelt Expressions with Katara Speaks. Until next time, I see you soon.